Good morning, Facebook people, and out to YouTube, and all my friends here online. This is the July summer sketch giveaway. So I'm super excited today because, this is my fourth annual summer sketch giveaway. I've been doing this for 4 years now. So I love to get together with everybody, talk about art and sketching, and I love to give away stuff. So as you're coming online, let me see who is here. Hi, Susan. Welcome from Canada. I am glad to see you, Joanne. Good morning. I just love to see everybody coming in. Hi, Diane from Tucson. Great. All of my faithful Facebook group friends, all of you artists that are coming in. Welcome, Nancy. So yeah, today is my July summer sketch giveaway. I'm doing it 2 months. I'll be doing it in August. At the end of the August, we'll have one more. So I hope that you got signed up. I know some of your names are on the list. I have my list printed out. I'm going to give away some sketching supplies today. So we're going to get started right away. As you guys know my drill, I just usually take about 30 minutes, try to talk art, put together a little lesson for you. Today I'm going to do a drawing, a random drawing. Got my list here. So hopefully you got signed up on the list because I'm giving away today one gift. Going to get the whole package. That way, when you get this in the mail, you have no excuses. You have to paint, right? You have to draw is what it is. Sketching, really. Welcome, Deb from Colorado. Just got back from Colorado, Deb. I was up in Colorado Springs. Hello, Debbie from Atlanta. Joanne. Oh, thank you. I have some paintings. I had worked on some of those up in Colorado behind me. She said beautiful paintings behind me. Thank you. Judith from California. JM, hello. Hi, Graham. Welcome from Oregon. And JM, no, Susan, I'm looking at the comments coming in. I have to have a minute where I can just get together and really see who's here. That's part of the fun thing for me is who's in the studio with me. And you guys seem to know each other, so you got your own little conversation going on there, and that is very cool. Hi, Sandra. Good to see you. Sandra Barnes Seuss. Well, we went to school together. So she showed up my last Facebook Live. I'm like, is that you, Sandra? And we grew up together in California. So thanks, Sandra, for joining in. I love it. So today, I'm giving away this premium prize. It's coming with the Westcott proportional wheel. And you are getting a sketchbook. And I did the mixed media sketchbook. That way, you can use it for gouache or watercolors, markers, whatever you want. They're a little bit heavier pages. And then I'm giving away with that the Dick Blick set of the grayscale markers. And I've put one little micron pin in there because that's my favorite go-to supplies when I am just doing sketches, right? So today I'm going to be doing I'm actually got a recorded demo. As you guys, if you come to my Facebook Lives very often, you know that I do recorded lessons because I just love that aspect of it. I can stop the recording. I can talk to you about it. I feel like I put together a stronger lesson that way. But as usual, always, I want to show you some pictures. Let me take this full screen. There is a storm there building here in Arizona. That's outside my studio. Look at that gorgeous sky. Is that not beautiful? Yes. So, we're in monsoon season. So this is like my time of year. And then we are also having some very beautiful sunsets. So I threw a sunset in there as well. We've been having some great sunsets. We've been hot. It's been hitting about 105 here. And yeah, pretty darn warm is what it's been. So I have been staying in the studio, except as I had said a minute ago, I just got back from Colorado. I went up to Colorado Springs, so I got some cool air there. little rain here. I mean, it's still warm for Colorado, but it felt great to me. And then I went into Santa Fe too. So yes, I saw that there was a storm in Tucson. Diane said last night. I was hoping we would get some here, but it just didn't happen. It didn't accumulate here in the valley. So this is it. Summer sketch giveaway. This is what you have arrived at. There is the prizes. If you're watching this Facebook Live and you have not signed up after this live, you don't have to go now because I'm not going and grabbing any new names. But after this live, you can go to lindaglovergooch.com/sketch24. That's where you sign up. I will be giving this away in latter part of August. There will be another Facebook Live the last part of August. So you'll still get a chance to win, but you got to go to lindaglovergooch.com/sketch24 to get signed up. Now, I know some of you are signed up because I saw your names. I printed the list. So I'm going to give you a sketching demo first. We're going to talk about the supplies. And I have a little recorded demo that I did. And then I have a random sheet of everybody that did sign up. There's 30 names on here. There's a couple crossed off because one is me for testing and my little assistant we tested. So our names are on there. And of course, we aren't going to win. But so yeah, so I'm going to run a demo of this sketch right here. And I time-lapsed it because it would have been too long and you might have fallen asleep on me. It might have been a little bit boring. So I time-lapsed the video that I'm going to run. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat box as the demo's running or afterwards, because I do love to talk questions and go over it. So you can kind of see that my sketches are a little bit more detailed. Sorry, get that straight. So this is the sketch that I'm doing. This is actually a painting that is up at Cowgirl Up right now. And I did it usually when I'm going to do a larger painting. Most of the time I try to do a little value sketch, but mine are more detailed. I like to tweak them out. Like if I'm not plein air, they're way faster and I don't spend as much time. It's more just, like block puzzle pieces. But in the studio, I just enjoy doing that. So I spend a little bit more time on these. And it's 5. Lynn asked me 3 grayscale. I actually use what is in this set are 5. It runs from the lightest all the way to the darkest. There's 6 here. Now, you guys are going to watch me do this. This one, I'm actually used my Prismacolor markers, but you can't get them anymore. So you're going to see the demo in Prismacolor markers, but it's very similar to the Dick Blick markers. I do have on the blog some sketching lessons, and I'll tell you where to go get them. But I made these little sets that show you the difference in the markers and the values and all. And you can download that from my blog, and I'll give you information of where to go on that. So I typically work with 4 or 5 values plus black, Lynn, in answer to your question. So that's this drill there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to run this demo of this drawing. Now I'm using Prismacolor markers in it because I did it before Cowgirl Up last year, but I thought it was worth watching. Let me get that banner off of the page there so it's not showing when I run the video. And let's just watch this video and then you can ask me questions and we'll move on from there. All right. And if you guys are all set, we're going to roll. And here we go. In this sketch, I did grid my paper and I am using a lead pencil to get my drawing on. When I'm going to take these up in a bigger format, I want to be really accurate. I am using 80% to develop some of the trees on the back hillside and part of the landscape foreground. The reference image is a study that I did a few years ago. The foreground was much more interesting than my reference. I am now moving to a 40% to get some value changes in the lay of the land and develop that composition. jumping to a 60%, taking things just a little bit darker. With my marker sketches, I have a tendency to sneak up on things. I'm going to use a little bit of black for those very front bushes, get a little more depth in value range. And then 20%, my lightest, just to cover up the ground. I want the road to be the lightest. Now I'm starting with 40% on the cloud. I'm really conservative when doing clouds, and now I have the reference image back up on the screen. And this is just a real tough cloud to do with some interest. So I just keep working, blocking it in. Gonna go a little bit darker. Well, like I said, I'm gonna sneak up on this just because I do have to be cautious in order to get the look that I want. Now I'm going with 20% right now. Yes, this cloud is going to go darker, but I'm kind of feeling my way through this. Taking in 40%. See, I would put you to sleep if I hadn't done this in time lapse, because it's just so many little layers trying to feel my way through what do I want this finished cloud to look like. I do want just a little bit of the scalloped edges here and there in it for some interest. Now I picked up the 60%. And using the 40%, I'm going back down into the ground, getting that far distant mountain blocked in, and those clouds at the horizon. Then a second run over that, so you can go back over in layers with the same value number and get your desired results. Just go over it a couple times if you want it a little bit darker, like I am on that foreground mountain. Now 20%, just want to bring that sunset horizon clouds up a little bit darker, and 20% for sky. I'm just going to get rid of the white of the sky. I think it could be toned down a little bit. Even though it is the lightest up there, I'm just going to tone it down, filling in more. %, with the small tip, not the big brush tip, but I'm just doing a little bit of detail with 80%, just a little more interest in the foreground. You can see my image reference doesn't have much interest in that foreground. That's why I had used my previous study. Now I'm really getting brave. I'm going to go up there with the 60% and really get that cloud to the value that I wanted. But yeah, I did have to go slow because I was sort of searching and seeking when I was doing this drawing what's going to work and how am I going to like the final results. %. Want to take this one just a little bit darker, that bottom horizon cloud. Just a few little breakaway clouds. So there you have it. That's a 4x5 sketch. And then I took this into a large painting, which was a 30x38 oil. Okay, so as you can see, I like to really work my sketches over. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. Linda, if Linda's asking me here, let me throw this question up here. Linda is asking, how long does it generally take? So if I had not dubbed anything out, meant, and done the time lapse, that was probably a 35, 40 minute ish, and in between, maybe a little bit longer by in between switching colors and sitting there and thinking for a minute, what do I want to go darker or where? So, probably right around 40, 45 minutes to do that sketch is what it would have really taken. I like to just, let me get rid of that. I like to take my time on them and spend a little more time in it with having an opportunity to um, tweak some of those, like you saw down in the little foreground there. And then I snuck up on that cloud. I'm going to tell you, these value sketches and clouds are kind of tricky. They take a lot of thought and a little bit of work to get around to, like, and you saw me all the way to the end. So I had several layers in that cloud itself. Thank you guys all for your very nice comments. I really appreciate it. So, Linda, you're saying, do I ever do a painted sketch with oils? Well, I do small studies. So there was that small study in the video where I showed you there at the beginning. That was an 8x10. So many times I'll do this. This was a 4x5 sketch, value sketch. Then sometimes I'll go up to like a 7x9 or an 8x10 or 9x12, and I'll do it in oils. And then if I'm going bigger to like a 30x40 or a 24x30, at least now I've worked out my values and I worked out my palette, and I know, or I feel like I'm going to like that. So that's kind of my process. If I'm under like a very serious deadline and I don't have time to do all that, I sometimes will jump to a canvas straight, but not very often. I typically try to do some kind of value sketch in some little studies. So, yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. I do color sketches as well. What value? So, Debbie's asking me a question here. What value number did you use on the orange of the sky? So the orange part of that sky was probably, back behind the cloud where it came down. I didn't really vary that. I used just the lightest 20% on what was the blue of the sky and where the orange came down into it. So I kept that pretty light because it was a fairly light value, that orange part of the sky at the horizon. But that's a good question. And sometimes these you just have to sort of like I said in the video, I was sort of like finding my way through that. So it wasn't an easy task to figure out where I wanted it to go. So yeah, glad that you guys liked that. I am happy to hear that. So what you should be doing is doing these sketches on a regular basis. And this is why I do the summer sketch giveaway. It's kind of to encourage you guys to get you to the drawing board or wherever is your place that you have to work, because sketching supplies are so versatile and they're so easy to move around. You can work in your kitchen, you can work, on a little laptop carrier thing on your lap. You can just do it about anywhere. And that's the beauty of sketching supplies. So I have at my blog too, let me put this up here big. So I have sketching lessons for you. Now I know some of you have done these. Susan did at least one of these. There are two different blogs that have sketching. So there's one that's called How to Find Time to Sketch. It's an 18-minute lesson of that sunset, and I have the images download. I have my drawing downloaded, and then you can go watch a video and you can go through that sketch. Or there's also a blog that is the 5 techniques to improve your sketching. So that one is a little Colorado scene, and you can go and you can do those lessons. So at those lessons, you get the whole everything there. Let me put this up right there. So those sketching lessons. So if you remember, lindaglovergooch.com/115 or lindaglovergooch.com/106. Those are those two sketching lessons. So I want to encourage you to like go there, download. You have to, put in your little thing and email, because I have to email the information to you. I send you the PDF. I send you the images, the PDF of my information. There's also this guy right here, because I worked in Prismacolor markers for so long, and I still have so many of them that I use them. But it shows you what the Dick Blick Studio Gray set is compared to the Prismacolor markers that I am doing. And then one of them, you will do this sketch in the 18-minute lesson, I believe it is. And then in the other one, you do another sketch. I don't have that one here for some reason. But anyway, you can get there and you can go over and take those lessons. So those are at lindaglovergooch.com/115 or 106. You will find them on the blog, which is a good lesson for you guys there. And then also in speaking about the blog, let me come back over. I'm going to jump over and see if there's any other questions about that. Let me look to see if there's any other questions before we move on about that demo. And thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. Your nice comments. I appreciate you all, everybody, you guys' nice, sweet comments. It's really nice. And I'm so glad to have you all on board. It does make it more fun to go live. And, I'm here every 2 weeks, 11 o'clock, Phoenix, Arizona time. I come with some kind of lesson. So just remember that. And then I'm always telling you that same time that I do a Facebook Live, that same week, I put out my blog. And so the blog favorites, I did that this week, was more about things that you might want to think about and go look at. So some of the favorites were about toning your painting. You can go to lindaglovergooch.com/blog. So one of them was toning your painting. That was a real popular one. I think it's just so informative and gave a lot of information for people when you want to, like, should I tone or should I paint on a white canvas? Then the other, that how to find time to sketch, that 18-minute lesson was really popular, sketching that little sunset cloud. So that takes you through that whole thing. And then another popular one was a key to painting beautiful clouds. So if you go to lindaglovergooch.com/blog, you will find all of those there. And those are some of the favorite lessons over this last year. So, go there, visit them. They just are loaded and packed with all kinds of stuff. There's usually a video lesson and just different images and some teaching and different things in it. So that, my friend, is what we do there. And then you came here to win. Are you planning on winning? Are you guys here? You're not sleeping on me, are you? Because I'm going to do the drawing. So here we are. I'm going to give away. This is one prize today, you guys. The premier prize. Let me get rid of this right here. Get this out of my picture. There we go. So if you're not used to the proportional wheel, then I have a lesson at the blog. It's on some of those drawing lessons. It teaches you how to use proportional wheel. So proportional wheel is great for keeping your photograph the exact same proportion as your format that you're going to paint on. So your canvas size and your photograph are identical. And I'm a real stickler on that because, sometimes when I teach, I have people like trying to put a square image on an 18x24 or something like that. Well, you have to change the drawing. You have to change the composition or vice versa. So that's what this tool, everybody should have in their studio. I know, okay, maybe if you are a math whiz, you don't need it. But I'm not a math whiz and I need it. And I love it. That's why I give them away. So you're going to win that. Then I have one of the Strathmore's mixed media pads. And I picked the mixed media just because it's really beautiful paper. It is smooth, which works really nice for markers, but you can use gouache on it. You can use watercolor on it because it's mixed media. So you got that. And then I am giving away the Dick Blick set of the grayscale markers. There are 6 of them. And then one of the micron. Now that little demo that I did not have the micron in it. I'm looking for my well, I'll just show you this one of the sunset. But the little microns, you can do small little trunks or things, but you can see here, I signed it, wrote the title. So that's what they are for. But I do use them in my drawing too. Sometimes if there's a tree trunk or right down close, some small little refinement, then that's what I use these micron pins for. So I stuck one in there too. Okay, are you guys ready for me to draw? Let me see if there's any questions. Strathmore makes good paper. Yes, Susan, it does. JM, not a math whiz. Me neither. No math whiz here. Good. I'm glad to hear. We're in good company then. All right. So remember, before I do this drawing, remember to share this out with everybody, right? If you have any friends that are interested in this type of thing, what would it be that you might give them? And I'm looking here to see what other slide. Okay, good. So what I did was on my phone, my kids, but on my phone, let me open it back up. I have this, let's see if you can see it. Random, it's kind of weird on the screen. There. It's a random number. So I have it listed from 2 to 30. But remember, if that number, and I see some of you guys' names on here. Yep, I see Diane, I see Susan, I see Graham. Hopefully you got signed up. Remember, Sandra, I see you. So remember, if you didn't get signed up, you can go to lindaglovergooch.com/sketch24 because I'm doing this again in August. So everybody's name is on there and everybody has a number. I've already got it set here. So I'm going to push the little generate. This is so hard when you're on the screen there. See that little guy right there? Okay. Everything's backwards. So like if I go to touch my ear, I feel like I'm touching my other side. It's just weird. You know how that does it. All right. I'm going to push. Here we go. Generate. And it's generating, it's running, and it came up number 9. Who is number 9? Let me see. Number 9 is Ron Hessman. And I don't think I saw Ron on here. And I don't require you guys to be present to win either. I should maybe, but I don't. So Ron Hessman, E.H. Hesman. Does anybody know Ron? Does that name sound, Susan, does that name sound familiar? Do you know him? I'm going to type his name in here. So if you know him, you guys can yell out at him. HMSEN. This is who just won. MSEN. If you know Ron, if anybody knows Ron, I'll have to contact him via email because he is the winner. Now, occasionally, if my winners don't answer or whatever, I give them like, a couple weeks. You have to get back with me because I don't want these to sit. And so I want to have an opportunity to give them away. Even though I'm doing Facebook Lives every 2 weeks now, it does make it a little easier. When I was only doing these with the summer sketch giveaway, then I ended up one year having to give them away again. So anyway, congratulations to Ron. That's exciting. And I'm so glad you guys all showed up. I hope that the lesson was helpful. Remember to go to the blog. There are those other lessons on there that you can jump in and you can do the 115 or the 106, you just put that / after my website. There's the whole video for you to watch. There is the downloads of the images. You can go there. And then I have also coming up, you guys, in-person workshop. My only one this year is coming up October 14th through the 17th at the Scottsdale Artist School. I have the phone number on the screen right there. If you want to call, you can find out all the information, or you can go to lindaglovergooch.com / workshop 24. That page will tell you everything. It will tell you the price. It would tell you all the goods, but I'm going to tell you they opened that up and it fills up pretty quick. I think we max it out at 14. I don't take any more than 14. And this is the beauty of the skyscapes. So we'll be painting clouds and sunsets in there. The whole focus will be on learning how to paint skies and clouds, kind of like this stuff back here behind me, things like that. So that's coming up October 14th through the 17th. You can call the 800-333-5707 and call the school. All right. And then we have, let me pull this down. Remember, if you are on here and you didn't get signed up, you can sign up for the August drawing. lindaglovergooch.com / sketch 24 takes you to a page. Got to give me your name and your email so you can get on here and win like Ron did. Win like Ron did. All right. And this is what we have coming. We have August 22nd. So I will be back in the first part of August with a different lesson, but the Summer Sketch giveaway is August 22nd at 11 a.m. That will be my next giveaway. All right. That's my next Summer Sketch giveaway, but I will be here whatever that other Thursday is. The first part, I didn't look at those dates, but I'll be back with another lesson. Probably going to do something on clouds. I haven't done anything on clouds for a while. We were at the canyon and we did rocks. We did cliffs. I'm kind of in the mood to paint some clouds. So I'll probably bring you a lesson about clouds, some kind of lesson. So that will be in 2 weeks from today. And then at the end of August, August 22nd at 11 a.m., I will give away another set, the other set of these supplies. So get that on your calendar. As soon as this is over with, you'll start seeing the dates for the next Facebook Live. So come back and join me. I just want to thank you guys all so much. Let me get over here and see if there's any questions. So let's see. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. I have lots of thank yous. Brenda says, will there be a replay? Because I missed the first part. Yes, it will stay on Facebook. It will be just, it just kind of has to repopulate itself. It doesn't take very long. And then it's on there almost immediately. So you can go back on my Facebook page right here where you are right now, and that will be there. All right. So yes, there's a replay of this. And do you need to register to win? No. Your name is on this list. The only one on this list that cannot win again will be Ron, because he already won. So his name will get blacked out. But you do not, if your name is on this list, then you're good to go. You stay on the list. It just gets added to of new signups. So you do not need to go sign up again. You are good to go. That was Debbie asking, do you need to register again? No, you don't. If you signed up, you are on. All right. So all right. We look like we're all good here. Thank you, Joanne. I'm trying to stay cool. It's only 103. They said it was going to be cooler today. That's cooler, 103. That's pretty bad when we're saying 103 is cooler, isn't it? Although, it's been all right. It hasn't been too bad. We might get some rain tonight between Diane from Tucson. I appreciate if you'd send those storms our direction, because I haven't gotten any rain around my property for a while. So we're looking for that. All right. Anybody have any other questions? Thank you, Graham. I'm so glad you found it helpful. I appreciate your faithfulness in showing up. A lot of you guys do show up. Let me see what this question is right here. Do you have a list of your favorite supplies located on Blick or Jerry's Artorama? I don't have a list located there, but if you go to my website, go to the Art Locker. If you go to the Art Locker there on my website, I have all kinds of different stuff there. And at the bottom, I think I have my palette. What's on my palette is what it's called. You can click that link, and I have a video telling you about my colors, all of that. The sketching lessons have list of all of my sketching supplies. So that's all there. So that would be where you would find my favorite supplies, Dale, would be at mylindaglovergooch.com. Go to the blog or go to the tab that says Art Locker. There's a lot of information there. All right. My palette is there as well. And you guys are all welcome, welcome, welcome. And let's see, Wendy, you're in Wickenburg and you're always 8 degrees cooler. You're in Wickenburg. Wow. Well, if you go over to Cowgirl Up, you'll see the big painting that was derived from that little sketch. That painting is hanging there at Cowgirl Up. So, yeah. All right, you guys. Look, it's 11:36. I'm 6 minutes over. I broke my rules. I usually just hit a 30-minute mark. But I love spending time with you. Remember to share this with your friends. All right. Remember, we will be back here in 2 weeks. I'll be bringing another lesson. August 22nd, if your friends aren't signed up for the drawing, tell them to get signed up. And, oh, did you see it at Cowgirl Up? Wendy said she saw the painting at Cowgirl Up. Awesome. And so get your friends signed up, and then we'll be back here in 2 weeks. I'll bring you guys another lesson. Hey, if there are some, you can do it in this chat box, or you can send me a message off of my website. If there are some lessons that you are interested, I know some of you have told me, Graham, you're waiting for a sunset course. I get that. That's on my list. And then some of you have talked about classes or lessons to do with the greens, all the greens, which, you know, if you didn't watch that Facebook Live on my page, The Power of Green, you should go watch that Facebook Live. It was way popular. People loved it. So there are all kinds of my Facebook Lives, and I've also starting to push them over to YouTube as well, so you can find some of them there. There's lots of things. And rocks, we've got lessons on rocks. Susan, I got a whole lesson on rocks, and there's some Facebook Lives about rocks. And if you go to the blog, I talk about some of the rocks there. So you'll find some of that stuff there too. You might have been absent, Susan. I think you had something going on when I talked about rocks and different things. So go check those things out. And pine trees. You asked me already about that one, Susan. I'm bad. I got to write that down. Pine trees. It's fun. And I really do appreciate these ideas. I don't ignore them. I have a list started. That's why I said I've got sunsets. I've got green valleys written down. I'm going to go add pine trees because, Susan, you already asked me about that. So maybe I'll do pine trees in 2 weeks. Yeah, that would be cool. Do some little studies of pine trees. I just came out of Colorado. So we'll look at that. All right. And Graham says, for future sessions, it'd be great for you to show us how you gather reference and organize and choose what you collect. Just a thought. Yeah, we've had these conversations like behind me. Let me get rid of this screen here. We've had these conversations before. So both of these paintings right here, you will never actually find that real landscape. So the clouds developed here in Arizona, but then I go and I develop a foreground of where I want to be. Like, where would I like to be? Where do I want to go? And so I just develop these foregrounds. Sometimes they have water. Sometimes they have like a path like that one over there. Sometimes they're just a green valley. You can't see it on the screen, but there's a little homestead down in there. So I just work on where do I want to go? What do I want to say about it? So that is kind of how I do that. I'm going to have to think about how I gather reference and organize it to talk to you about that, Graham. You know, obviously organizing your folders with digital images. Now we're also digital. That's part of the process. I do have uh, files. So this is one thing that I did. I don't do it so much anymore, but during my younger years, this is one thing, and I'm going to share it right now today before we go. Then we're out of here. When I used to get all the magazines, I don't get as many magazines because everything is digital, right? But I used to, like, if I fell in love with something, it could be, let me just throw a name out there, some friends. Let's say it's Bill Kramer. We're friends. So let's say I just loved something about his painting, like maybe it was the greens of the pinyon trees, or maybe it was like the way the saguaros were like highlighted or whatever. So I started a file and I would cut those pictures out and I would save them. So I have files that are foregrounds, they're water, they're sky, they're bushes, they're flat ground, they're valleys. And it would just be stuff that for something would inspire me. Now, I never copied their paintings, but I found inspiration in them. All right. So let's say I'm painting a desert scene and it's loaded full of saguaros. Well, I would pull my saguaro folder and I would have pictures of, there would be paintings of Matt Smiths in there. There might be Bill Kramer's. There might be a lot of the desert painters who paint saguaros. So what I would do is study how they got that look. How did they get it? What were the colors? What did the back light look like? What did the reflected light look like? What was their brushwork like? So I would use that to teach myself. It was like a lesson. So that's one way that you can do is start a folder of images, and it can be out of art magazines, it can be out of brochures from shows, and you're not copying anybody's painting, but you're using it as inspiration. Does that make sense? So that's one thing that you can do. I don't do it as much anymore because in my beginning years, I did that a lot, but now I have so much of my own photo reference. But there are times if I get stuck on something, I might go pull out my folder that's trees and just flip through them and just flip. It's no different than you ever go into a gallery or a museum just to kind of get yourself inspired, just to refresh your eye, just all those things. So that is one way that I do build, and it's a good thing to have, just to kind of have things to inspire you and to look, how did they use cool colors? How did they use the warm colors? What did it look like? What's the brushwork like? Okay, you guys, that's it. We're out of here. Yes, Diane, you do have a folder of artistic inspiration. So now break it down from there. Break it down. Like if it's got trees, put it in a tree folder. If it's got rocks, put it in a rock folder. If it's got water, put it in a water folder, because you might go to work on something and you might find you're struggling with, how do they get reflections to work? Or how do the values work? Then you have a folder that is specifically got stuff in there about that, and it'll just help inspire you. All right, Graham, you're welcome. Hopefully that helps. And I'll try to think of different things too that will be helpful to you guys as you are building those. And I'm talking years of Southwest Art of the West, Artist Magazine. Remember when that's all we had before the digital era? Now some of those, I'm getting online and I'm not having the physical magazine in my hand anymore because elements of time, of having time to read them and all that. But anyway, all right, my friends, remember, come back in 2 weeks. We'll have a lesson. I'll have to decide what that will be. And then remember, August, right there, the 22nd is our next summer sketch giveaway. If you are not signed up to win, you can go right there. If you've never signed up, if you signed up, you don't need to sign up again. You're already on the list. Okay, my friends, that is it. I'm going to sign off. That's right. Susan has given you the marching orders. We're going to end with that last comment that she put in there. Says go sketch, because that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what we're all going to do. All right, my friends, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Remember to share this, like it, tell your friends about it, and let's all get to creating. All right, my friends, thank you. You all stay cool too. Ciao.